5, 7, 1, 2, 3.
Hi, this is Pods and Ends, the junk drawer of pop culture and geek podcasts. Hello and welcome back to Pods and Ends. This is the second part of the episode. Hope you enjoy it.
Woo! Okay.
Yes.
End game chat. I'm actually going to start with a lightning round just to get everyone's heads.
Spoilers.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
We're going to spoil it. Oh, we're going to spoil Battle of Winterfell as well if you haven't caught.
Yeah, by the way, if you haven't already noticed,
There's a difference though, because Endgame can actually be spoiled, where
Yeah.
Battle of Winterfell spoiled it for us. So
Oh,
carry
wow.
on.
Wow. That was salty.
that was good.
Sheesh. I'm just going to start by getting our heads now into Marvel by doing a quick lightning round, okay? And you guys have to say the first answer that comes to your head when I ask these questions, just so that people get an idea of what we're about with
So
the
we all
Marvel
saying it at the
universe.
same time?
No, I'll go around each of you. So you will have like a few seconds pause if you're not asked first. So,
Can we do the order so we know which order to do it in?
okay, well you're going first because you're next to me, then Shelby, then Brian.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay, here we go.
So, your flash
I get
round.
the most time.
Phil, favourite Marvel character?
What?
Favourite Marvel character, go!
Oh, just give me a second to think about it.
No!
He's pausing.
Thor.
He's cheating.
Shelby,
Captain Marvel.
Brian.
I'm sorry, no.
Oh.
No.
Oh.
Sorry, I meant to say Iron Man.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, you didn't, because you said
Oh,
exactly
well, no.
what.
So you don't have to have the
Now we
Captain Marvel
know.
tattoo
Now we
on
know.
your
This is how the
forehead.
lightning round works.
And
I
Brian.
meant to say Iron Man.
Too bad. Hawkeye.
And I'm Captain America. Favourite film, Phil?
Favourite film?
Yep.
That's a hard one. Endgame was the first thing that comes to my
Wow,
head.
okay. Shelby,
Iron Man.
Brian,
End Game.
Sophie, Ragnarok.
That was my backup.
And I guessed that none of us would say a female character, which is why I've put this one in. Who's your favourite female character?
Dab.
Phil.
Dab. Valkyrie.
Nice. Shelby.
Captain Marvel.
Brian.
You don't say. I'm debating between Shuri and Gamora and Nebula.
It's a
So-
lightning
Those
round.
were
It
all
is a
like
lightning
time for a
round.
second
I
for
was-
me.
Some combination of those three.
Wow.
Cheater.
Yeah, mine is Captain Marvel as well. Favourite side character? So just someone not too prominent, not an Avenger really.
Korg.
Shelby?
Korg.
Spider-Man's friend, who I can't remember his name.
Oh, who dropped the Death Star?
Yes.
Oh, nice. Did you say yours, Shelby? Did I just miss that?
I said
She said
Korg.
Korg.
Oh,
too.
you said Korg as well. Oh, okay. I think mine is, I can't remember his name, but Jeff Goldblum's character.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember what he's called. He's not the Collector, is he? That's his brother.
He is kind of like the Collector.
Yeah.
though. Like, they would be really good friends.
Cracks me up every time. Okay, and then Phil insisted I put this one in here. Strongest Avenger, Phil.
Scarlet Witch.
Ooh, Shelby.
Thor.
Thor.
Captain Marvel.
Oh, well. Yeah, actually, she is.
Well, apart from Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, no, we had
Let's debate that, shall we?
no, we had to have an interesting debate
Yeah,
earlier about that, didn't
we
we?
did.
If like,
Well,
they're
I mean,
the
Scarlet Witch
same.
can destroy an Infinity Stone. That's pretty powerful.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
And
true.
she also had Thanos beaten apart from Thanos' mouth,
yeah.
where Captain Marvel didn't, and Thor definitely didn't, even with Mew Mew and Stormbreaker. So
If anyone asks, obviously we
there
can't.
is a right and wrong answer, and I did get it right.
We can't hugely pronounce Mjolnir, so we are going to go with Mew Mew from the first film. Yeah,
Mew Mew.
All in agreement. We'll use Mew Mew because
Yeah, that's fine.
relevant.
Kat Denon said
Although
it.
Doctor Strange is pretty powerful.
He's the best of us.
Yeah, I flipping love Doctor Strange. Honestly, So many strong feelings.
Continue the
there.
lightning round, so.
Oh, wow. You got another
sorry.
lightning round? That was done.
Oh,
We're
okay.
finishing on Strongest Avenger, because obviously.
You know why it's called the lightning round?
Because
Thor's the strongest Avenger.
Actually, honestly, Iron Man is the strongest from like an emotional, mental, like.
I mean, he won the end game.
Yeah,
but...
he won. He's the one.
Grandmaster.
Oh, okay. That's Jeff Goldblum's character. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's cool. He's the. It begins with B. Trash. Oh, okay. So we've all watched Endgame. You now have a bit of an idea of what we're about in terms of Marvel characters. We're really into it. So to kind of start with, let's just may as well keep the same order, I suppose. Phil, can you tell me a character that you didn't have particularly strong feelings for going into Endgame that you now really do? So is there someone who you wound up caring about that you weren't expecting to care about?
Lady
in a film?
Mormont.
No, we've moved on from that episode.
What?
No, we're on different franchise.
Oh, sorry.
So if you could focus, that'd be cool.
And we're talking Endgame only,
We're talking
yeah?
Endgame, yes. So,
I couldn't pick between two, but one of them's controversial, the other one's not. Mm-hmm. The Wasp.
nice.
Yeah, I thought she was good, and I liked her in the final battle. And then Pepper Potts. If it wasn't for Pepper Potts, then none of this would have happened.
Ooh.
She inspired Tony to go and do the right thing. Because I think, if not, Tony would not have done it. He would have been happy with the life he did.
Yeah.
And Pepper was the one that said, you can, let me think of the line. It sounds like you can save everyone,
Yeah,
or something like
yeah.
that. So,
Yeah, that was a good
Yeah.
line.
Pepper Potts, surprisingly. Not so sure about Pepper Potts in Iron Man costume.
Oh, really?
That was one of my favorite scenes. I was like, when they were back to back, and I was just like, ah!
But,
Honestly, I was gonna say Pepper Potts as well.
yeah.
Nice. So you weren't that into her from the Iron Man films then, Shelby?
I mean, I was, but I mean, also it just seemed like she was holding Tony back most of the time, and this is like her moment that she finally didn't. She actually pushed him out the door,
Yeah.
and I really liked that.
Yeah. I've I don't know, I've got a bit of, I think my opinion of Pepper has been kind of tarnished by my low opinion of Gwyneth Paltrow. So
Well, yeah.
I found that really hard to separate the two. I'm just like, dude, let your children have a potato. It's not
Which
going
is
to hurt
very
them.
interesting, because when I criticise Matthew McConaughey,
I know you do.
I get told off for it.
I
But you're allowed to
know.
do it
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. She's just
with Gwyneth Paltrow. Just because she doesn't
winds me
feed her
up.
children food, she just lets them eat dust and water.
names them Apple and things like that. And anyway, so yeah,
Cinnamon.
So that's Pepper. I was kind of similar. I'd say mine was also Black Widow. Now I think we had this conversation, didn't we, afterwards, of I've always liked Black Widow, and I've always respected her as a character. I can tell that she's really she's kick-ass, she's really tough, she's but I've never connected with her emotionally. She's just been a cool character. But this film, for me, actually did make me have strong feelings towards her. And I did find that I got that connection with her that I've just never had up until now. So I think for me it would be, Black Widow. What about you, Brian?
I think it would either be Nebula or just... There's something about Tom Holland's Spider-Man.
Oof.
Yeah.
Right? That was an
I
emotional
didn't
moment.
know how much I cared about Spider-Man until he came back on screen. And I literally, yipped.
Yeah.
In the theater. I was like, woo!
Yeah.
I couldn't control it. It came out. And that's not a thing that I usually do. So, judging by my... I don't know, uncontrollable reaction, I think I have to say that Spider-Man means a lot to me. I mean, I've always liked the character of Spider-Man, but something about Tom Holland's Spider-Man is just really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think having a younger Spider-Man
I think
is
maybe
just
that's exactly
really
what it is, yeah.
good.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about having a younger, teenage Spider-Man. It just really resonates, and to have him be oh, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yes.
I think the chemistry between Iron Man and like Peter Parker.
Yeah.
See what I did there? You said two different names.
Yeah,
You
I
said
know.
Tony
Yeah,
Stark
I know.
and
And you Tony Stark and Spider-Man, yeah.
I think the chemistry between those two is what did it for me as well, because I actually agree. I didn't really think of Spider-Man in that way, but yeah,
They've
him
made
coming
that
back
work,
was amazing, and they really did make it work, and it pulled at the heartstrings more when like Spider-Man said goodbye than when Pepper Potts said goodbye for me.
I agree completely. Yeah.
But I mean, he was like basically his first kid.
Yeah. Yeah.
Honestly,
And
he thought
was
of
the
himself
dad.
like his dad.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
I'm actually getting a bit sad now.
I know, right?
Ooh, okay, well, why don't you tell us about your standout moment then, Phil, to cheer you up?
My standout moment.
Yeah.
So Thanos has come down,
Oh, this is a good one.
and with this big ship, they've gone through the portal because fake Nebula let them through.
Yeah.
And
Fabula.
yeah, exactly. And the world has collapsed, and Ant-Man's trying to save the day, and Hawkeye's running about with a gauntlet. And then 3 dudes stand up and go, right, let's go and do him. And as they do it, Thor pulls in Mew Mew and Stormbreaker. I literally like now.
Yeah, that was a noise you made, wasn't it?
I did make an uncontrollable noise in the cinema when it happened, and was just so happy. It was literally amazing.
And he looked incredible, didn't he? Because like the beard changed, like the
beard,
lightning.
it was a plaited beard, and he looks much more like a Viking.
Yeah, a Viking
Yes.
god.
He didn't have his like sexy body still, but he looked much more like a Viking, like a I've been around the block and I'm literally just going to chop your head off. I know that didn't happen, but you know,
It did happen, but
cringe.
yeah.
Yeah.
I can't not mention when the hammer moved and you thought it was going to Thor, it didn't go to Thor, it went to someone else. That was also another moment.
Okay,
But
shall I take that one then? Because that was my standout moment. Was when Mew Mew got called to Captain America, and again I was just like that was my involuntary sound of the film because I was like, he was worthy. I knew it. It was so good, and I think people who don't like Captain America liked that scene as well. And like,
I vouch for that.
yeah, and
Yeah,
yeah.
I did. I was like, okay, that is.
It was
rad.
the image of him with Mew Mew over his head and
shield.
and his shield there, and him in his costume was just amazing.
And it's like Thor was totally okay with it because Thor was like, I knew it as well. Like, so that was just really cool. Thor wasn't like bitter and competitive. In fact, he was like, yeah, you can have the little one. I'm going to have the big one. Like,
I still didn't like it that much, but that's okay. Sorry.
Well, what was your
I know.
standout moment then, Shelby? To just
Gosh,
bust my bubble
there
there.
were a couple. I know, right?
Yeah.
Yours is awful, but I'm going to tell you.
So you're wrong, and I'm going to
burst
tell you
your
what
bubble.
the actual best moment is.
One specific moment that I really liked was when Thanos tries to headbutt Captain Marvel, and she's like,
Bruh.
no,
Yeah.
which was great.
Yeah.
I wanted to say like the ladies all going together, but I mean it was so fan servicey, but I didn't care. With all of the Marvel ladies helping Spider-Man get through.
There are
Can
so
I?
many.
If they hadn't have done it in Infinity War, I wouldn't have had that much of an issue with it. But because they did it in Infinity War and then they did it again in Endgame, I thought it was a little bit too much. Because they all like when.
Yeah. I had
She's
forgotten
not
that they
alone.
did it in Endgame.
Yeah, she's not alone.
Sorry, in
That's
Infinity
cool.
War.
Yeah.
But you know, like the not so like big standout moment to me was Tony getting a moment with his dad.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a good one. Yeah.
Which was excellent because it was humorous and also touching as well. So
Yeah.
it was good. Yeah, really.
Yeah.
That's the MCU, like in a nutshell. Though they do that so well. Like things are funny, they're emotional, and they're compelling all at the same time.
Like when he hugged him, that's so funny to us because obviously his dad's like, I've just met this dude and he's hugging me. So you're laughing, but at the same time you're like, oh, Tony gets to like make peace and hug his dad. Like that's so nice as well. It's yeah, so good. So good.
I forgot about this standout moment because it was so early on in the film, but when Ant-Man finds his daughter and she's like grown up.
Yeah, that was
Mm-hmm.
that was pretty.
Yeah, that was really,
yeah,
really
crazy.
good. Yeah.
Because they flipped that on its head, and, you know, like everyone else finds out that their loved ones are gone, and he shows up, and his loved one finds out someone they thought was gone is back.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
also really sad because he's missed 5 years of her life.
Right. And he never gets to get that back.
No,
Like,
he'll
that's
never
just
get
gone.
it back.
No. He's missed a lot, actually, hasn't he? Because he was in jail for a chunk as well. So it's... Yeah, I was glad that he got that moment as well. It felt like, you know, some people needed to have that. You know, where it's like Pepper said, wasn't it? Like, we got lucky, and in a way, like, he got lucky as well there, which is nice. They built that up really well to him having that kind of moment with his daughter. So it was, yeah, it was good.
And
what about you, Brian? What was your standout moment?
Obviously, Hawkeye saving the day again by grabbing the gauntlet and running away from those little space goblins in the bowels of the blown up base. Yeah, it was.
when he gets the phone call from his wife.
Yeah. Oh, that was.
Yeah, that was good. He did that so well, didn't he? So well.
I also really
I
like.
swear this is the best acting
Yeah,
he's done.
the beginning, which I'm going to mention later, is just because you know the whole time what's going to happen. You're like, oh, why in game? Why are you doing this to me?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was hardcore. That opening.
You know,
scene. I literally, like, when I was watching it, I was like, oh, Brian's gonna be so happy with this film.
I wonder how they're going to go forward with everyone. Like, half the population is 5 years older than everybody else. Like, how does someone be like, how old are you? Well, I'm one of the people that is the older people, like the 5 years older people. Like, do you just say that, yeah, those 5 years don't count? Does it mean that all of those people that were dusted and come back, they're going to live longer? Or how does it work? Do they still say that they're the same age they were when they got dusted? Or do they say, I'm actually...
They must do.
How do you communicate how old you are?
Yeah, they must be, like, yeah, the people who were undusted are 5 years older, basically.
Yeah, I wonder if they just come back
that's
having
hardcore.
aged 5 years.
I don't think so. Because Gamora
No, because he
comes
said, didn't he, like,
back
oh, it's
not dead.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
That's a
And,
different
like-
Gamora.
I know, it's a different Gamora, but you know what I mean.
But Spider-Man says, doesn't he, like, I must have passed out for a minute because then I woke up and Doctor Strange was saying, like, we've got to go, it's been 5 years or something, didn't he? I have to, like, pay attention to how he said, how he felt that time.
The thing is, it's fine. You got a 2-year-old though that was dusted, and then they come back. They're still going to be a 2-year-old, but they're actually going to be a 7-year-old. But they can't go to 7-year-old school because they need to go to 2-year-old school.
Because they still look and act like a 2-year-old.
Yeah, but I don't.
And are a
Because they're not
2-year-old.
emotionally mature.
I don't think they've.
It doesn't really matter for a 60-year-old, but
If they come
Like
back,
a baby that was dusted is still going to be a
yeah,
baby.
like I don't think they existed. Like to them, if you got dusted,
No.
it's like you disappeared and then you just came right back. Would be my assumption. I don't think you were like in limbo for 5 years, like actually growing as a person, even if you didn't physically grow.
That'd be so annoying because, like, if I got dusted, if you got dusted and I didn't, and then you came back and you'd be like, oh, well, you're older than me now.
I'd be
weird.
like, woo!
It'd be really annoying. Yeah.
Oh, what if it got even worse? That'd be weird.
Oh, that would be weird.
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh, we were at like the peak of that. Now I don't know.
Oh, okay. So what was everyone's favourite, like, throwback moment? Because there were lots of, like, Easter eggs and just moments that referred back to
it's because they went on a time heist. So
Time Heist. Exactly. We've got lots of opportunities for various throwbacks and nuggets and things like that. So, Phil, what was your kind of favourite throwback moment?
for me, it had to be when War Machine and Nebula were just knocking about. And then Quill came up dancing. And it's just like, oh, I just love Quill. Yeah.
On Morag, yeah.
Yeah, I'm more right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the
Yeah,
throwback of
the
seeing
music.
that scene again, but
With no music.
Yeah.
yeah, in a different context of what
You
it
get to
was
hear
and
him
stuff
sing.
was, yeah.
Yeah, and it was like that, oh, okay, so he is an idiot then.
He's an idiot.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, that was there's too many, but if I had to pick
Yeah.
one, and the first one that came to my mind was that one, so that's one.
Nice.
Yeah.
So,
What about you, Shelby?
I'm still thinking about it. Pass. Hold on. Let me think about this one.
Okay, Brian, do you want to jump in a sec then?
Mine was the little kid from Iron Man 3 at Tony's funeral.
Oh.
Because it took me until we were driving home. Because they pan, and there's this kid just standing there by himself. And I'm like, what is this kid doing there?
Yeah, so...
And, yeah, we were debriefing as we do on the way home. And it just like, oh my God, was that the kid from the garage in Iron Man 3? And Shelby looked it up, and sure enough, yes. And that's impressive attention to detail right there.
See, I think I know what mine is. It would be, I'm inevitable. Well, I am Iron Man.
Yeah. Yeah.
To have the I am Iron Man again,
excellent.
like calling back to the very first movie that started all of this, that's probably the best.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought mine was just one of those little moments, but it was one of the first ones. Now that I think about it, I am Iron Man's probably the best as well. But the one that just got me of like a fun throwback was when the Wasp calls Captain America Cap. And then her and Ant-Man have a little look to each other because it's like that's what we call him kind of thing. And it was just, I thought it was a really fun throwback to some of the Ant-Man films. It's just less important, but that did just make me smile.
I saw a YouTube video with like 257 throwbacks and Easter eggs.
Oh, wow. Okay.
In Endgame.
So we might be missing a few if you'd like to tell us.
Basically, if it's true, I've not watched it, but if it's true, there's going to be like more than one a minute.
Wow.
So...
I mean, it's
it's
a
good.
culmination of, 21 other movies over the course of 11 years or so. Yeah, there's probably, if you look hard enough, you could probably make that work.
Yeah. So, Phil, what was your favourite fight scene?
My favourite fight scene? Easy. I don't even need to say it's that easy. Anyone that's seen the movie knows.
Would you like to share it with the group anyway?
Captain America, Iron Man, and Thor fighting Thanos.
Fan of the Oz.
Yeah.
It was pretty epic.
They still didn't defeat him.
No.
Thanos is a titan of a fighter.
Yeah.
See what I did there?
That was very good. That was
Well
very good.
And I liked the fact that even the three of them at full strength and Captain America getting the hammer and Thor having two, Thanos was still like able to hold his own.
Yeah. It was cool.
And even the whole way through, apart from when he fought Scarlet Witch, he was able to hold his own really.
Yeah.
And that's impressive.
But there's three really iconic characters as well, and like the core of the Avengers, and it was really cool to see them.
And we have had the three of them fight against each other, so it's nice to see them, like the three of them fight with each other and using like hammer hitting shield and powering up.
Yeah,
like we had the flashback of the powering up of Iron Man again via the lightning, like they did in the first Avengers.
Yeah, I can't remember.
First Avengers.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So it was a nice throwback to that. And who doesn't want to see those? Well, exclude Captain America, but who doesn't want to see Iron Man and Thor fight?
Proper
so,
rude.
but they made it interesting by giving him the hammer, which was good.
Okay. Shelby, what was your favourite fight scene?
I don't know. I really liked Captain Marvel with Thanos a lot because I felt like she's actually his somewhat equal, without having like help from multiple people. But you'll like this. I actually really surprisingly liked Captain America versus Captain America because no matter who was winning, he got his. He's winning and losing at the same time.
No matter what happens, Captain America gets his butt kicked.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's like...
Which is America's butt, by the way.
Exactly.
He realises what a pain he is, when he's like, I could do this all day, and he's like, yeah. He's a bit like, it was a self-reflection moment for him, of like, oh God, I am annoying. Okay.
I liked it a lot.
Yeah, it was good. It shows kind of how far his character's come as well, and how he's had a lot of time for self-reflection, and does indeed have the ass of America as well. America's ass, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one. What about you, Brian? What was your favourite fight?
I picked two. One was really easy because it's Captain Marvel versus Thanos' ship. That was just like...
Oh, that was radical.
I love when she just flies through stuff. It's like a human missile. It's great. I love watching her do that. And it was a good callback to her movie, too. But I also really liked Hawkeye versus Black Widow for who gets to sacrifice themselves. So that was a cool. I mean, it was kind of like the Cap versus Cap fight where, you know, good guys are fighting again, which I guess you could think of as a callback to Civil War, sort of, if we're going like really in depth with our Easter egg hunting. But it was a cool fight, and it ended the way it had to end. There's no reason that Clint should have sacrificed himself. He had so much to lose, where Black Widow, you know, not to be rude, but had nothing. You even saw that, like, she was falling apart in that 5-year time, just trying to make something happen. Like, I have to be here. If I don't do it, who's going to do it? Like, she didn't know what to do without some cause, right? So she couldn't settle down like Clint could have, obviously. So that's me.
That was my choice as
yeah,
well.
there
was those two
was
fighting.
pretty good.
Yeah. I thought it was so it's a really personal one, you know, like you definitely I was glad it was those two. I'm glad that Clint was there at the end for her. You just, you know, you have the sense that they've, and to be honest, it was a good throwback as well to when they fought
Avengers 1.
When was it that he was possessed by the Scepter?
Avengers
was
1.
it? It was the first Avengers, yeah. So it was a really cool throwback to that.
That's a
and
good
just
point. I hadn't
sort
even
of,
thought about that.
Yeah. And like, I mean, I like seeing those two fight anyway because they obviously know each other so well. So they kind of know how to outwit the other one all the time. And you genuinely didn't, like you, I had a sense of who I wanted it to be. And I was the same. You know, I thought for me, like Natasha's arc was complete. And it was like, oh my gosh, yes, this is really what she's meant to do here. It really should be her. Because although it would have been cool to see her in the final fight, like you say, her character was just done, basically. And that was what it had led to. And for her, you know, she's always lived with this feeling of kind of guilt, right, for her past. And so for her, it was like the ultimate kind of redemption, I guess, even though obviously she's done plenty up to that point, but like, yeah, she could do that thing. But also you never really knew who it was going to be, so you were on this sort of edge. You were thinking, at one point I was convinced when she was on the floor and Clint started running, I was like, oh well, that's it, it's Clint, oh my god. And then it just sort of flipped back again to her, and you know, I just thought it was perfectly done. I kind of touched on that earlier of like, I think it was some of Jeremy Renner's like best acting, and then that shot afterwards on Vormir where he wakes up with the Soul Stone, like that's one of my favourite shots of the whole scene. It was just so and like I said, I think it's perfect that it was those two together because I don't think anyone else would mourn the other like the other would, if that makes sense.
True.
Yeah. So yeah, that was my favourite as well.
I don't know, I think Hulk mourned her quite hard.
Oh, that was sad.
He did put the gauntlet on and really tried to get her back. So
that was really sad.
Just saying.
But that would have ended really bad because then he'd been like, oh, it's got to be me. And then he'd have jumped off and then landed and been like, oh, okay, so it actually probably does have to be you.
Yeah.
Then.
Oh, I'm still alive. Whoops.
Wouldn't that be
Probably
funny
does
if that
have
was
to
a
be
good way
you.
to cheat it, though?
Yeah.
Like, if you can jump off and
like
survive,
he
you still
made
get the
this-
Soul Stone.
Yeah, you just have to go
like,
through
you made the
it's like a
sacrifice.
weird trust fall.
Yeah.
As long as you do it, it counts.
Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, go on then, Phil. What was the best like lol moment for you? What was the funniest? I know there were quite a few in this one. So what's one that particularly cool sticks out to you as one of the funniest?
I
bits?
liked Hulk and Rocket going to New Asgard,
Yeah.
and then Korg.
Sorry, I just spat all over.
Korg Quill playing Fortnite and like the mean person on Fortnite, and then Thor telling him off. It's not the concept of like the God of Thunder telling someone off on Fortnite.
Like a 12-year-old kid, yeah.
That is exactly what I was gonna say. 100%. Like my note says, the dude, because Thor looked like the dude from The Big Lebowski. The dude Thor talking smack on Fortnite. That is what I wrote down. So good. That whole everything about that intro, like, surprising, especially because well, most people probably know Chris Hemsworth is very about his like exercise routine and being fit and everything, and then you see him looking like me basically.
Oh,
and I'm like, there's hope for me yet. No,
you do look like him.
Every time anyone ever mentions that Thor is super sexy now, or whatever, I'm going to think, yeah,
exactly.
And I've got the same body as him.
Exactly.
I have got the body of Thor.
Thorbod. Hashtag Thorbod.
Dad bod, Thor bod.
Exactly. So, yeah.
And like I said, he totally rocked it at the end as well. I'm actually really glad he didn't then just be like, gets the hammers and he's like, woo, now I'm
Yeah, I thought that was cool
again.
too. Like it's a little homage to, hey, guess what?
I'm being who
weight losses work for everyone.
Who he's meant to be.
Yeah.
True, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And he did just look
well,
like
he looks more Viking-ish, honestly.
Well, I'm
Yes.
sure that's the body type that they probably had. Maybe not quite the belly, but I'm sure they weren't super cut and everything.
No. I'm not sure how much
Right,
food
exactly.
they had back then or not. I
They
don't
didn't
know.
drink water, they only drank ale.
Ale.
Oh, so that probably would make you pile on the pounds.
Because the water wasn't clean enough, so that's why they fermented it into ale, so they could drink ale.
Yeah, surely they would just like melt snow. Or is that a super stupid thing to say? Just melt buckets
Why don't
of
you
snow.
get off Twitter and read an encyclopedia?
Actually, you're sort of speaking to the wrong person there because I haven't been
Oh,
on Twitter
snap.
now for, is it 6 days? I don't know. It feels like a year because of how
let's
cleansed
continue.
I feel. What was your funniest moment, Shelby?
Funniest moment. I think probably someone wet my pants. I don't know if it was baby me or me.
That was
or
good, yeah.
Me. Ant-Man is like my favorite comic relief. It was either that or like, hey, you want to take a picture with me? I'm Ant-Man. And like the kid's like shaking his head no. And he's like, yeah, take a picture with him.
He's literally shaking his head.
No, I don't want to take a picture.
Yeah.
I actually thought they did a good job making Hulk a bit more.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Like, he managed to, the 5 years he'd managed to chill out
when
a
he
bit
started to
and-
smash things, and he's like,
Oh yeah, he's pretending like he was
Yeah.
Hulk from Avengers 1. We gotta fit in.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the thing. I love that they keep taking these characters in directions that, you know, like we've seen him go all Hulk and smash and stuff, and it's cool to see that like now, you know, he's kind of found that perfect balance, and him sort of explaining the kind of concept of the time heist and Ant-Man being like, so wait a minute, Back to the Future was rubbish. You know?
And I also really liked seeing Tony Stark's witty banter again. Like, he's finally a little bit lighter to make that kind of stuff, and saying, well, she just said she loves me 3,000, so I'm winning.
Yeah.
That is a good line.
Yeah, that was a really nice touch,
And also
yeah.
he's like turned
That
into a
was
baby.
funny.
Yeah, oh yeah. He rocks up knowing exactly what they did wrong. Yeah, that was terrific.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think for me, it was actually at the very end when Thor is with the Guardians of
You
the
mean the
Galaxy.
Asgardians?
And you get in this whole, like, who's in charge? And then they're like, oh, you should totally knife fight over who's in charge. And then there's sort of Quill's like, no, it's fine. You know, it's obviously me. And then there's this massive pause. And, you know, Thor's like, oh, of course, yes, it's totally you. They both just played that. So I love those two
I like
together.
that Quill, like, at one point put on a deeper
He
voice
does,
and
yeah.
stuff.
He
It's
still
so
puts on a
good.
deeper voice. He's sort of like, and it just, I'm
I just felt that
you touching the screen.
You touched the map, so
Yeah, you touched the map, and then just, you know. Honestly, I could just I really hope that it's like the next Guardians of the Galaxy. He's going to try and like rename them the Asgardians of the Galaxy or something. And like, yeah, I'm really here for everything with Thor and Quill. Just cracks me right up. So Phil, what was the moment that shocked you the most in this film? Because a lot of shocking things did happen. So what surprised you the most?
I was shocked that everything in the trailer was shown to us in the first 5 minutes.
He literally whispered across me, he was like, I'm so stressed now.
And no, I think them chopping Thanos' head off in the first 10 minutes was fairly shocking, and then the screen going black and 5 years later.
Yeah.
I was not expecting that at all. And that was kind of like, this is taking a turn. I thought they were just going to instantly do I thought there had to be some sort of alternate universe / time travel going on.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting it to. They took the story in a different way than I was thinking, so it was very clever, and I liked it. So
yeah. I thought they were going to be going back in time to like chase after Thanos.
Kill baby Thanos.
Kill baby. Don't do that.
That is dark.
But I kind of thought that it didn't occur to me that they were going to be going back to actually go after the stones as well.
Basically, the first 10 minutes was quite shocking.
Yeah.
I did like Hawkeye at the beginning, like messing about with his kids and wife, and then a lot of them just disappear and was like,
I feel like he got worse
that
off.
is actually what would happen.
Yeah, but he was like 50% of the population.
If it was like true, like, wow, that is...
Felt like he got done over a little bit there, not gonna lie. But what about you, Shelby? What moment shocked you the most?
Shocked me the most. I mean, a lot of things were shocking, I guess. I think what shocked me the most was like the way that Thor's mom talked to him. I was really surprised at how that all went down, and like that he would get some peace out of that, and how much it would change him as a person.
Yeah, I loved that scene. Actually, I thought that was really, really good. We should maybe talk about that they got Natalie Portman back for a Marvel film. Like, how much money did they throw at her to do that? Because I'm pretty sure she hates it, doesn't she? You did say that, actually. You're like, I can't believe they got Natalie Portman back. How did they manage that?
So, if we go back to Thor's mum,
yes,
everything about that was brilliant. Everything to do with Thor's mum was brilliant.
Yeah, that was
the
really,
whole
really
like,
good.
You're not from this. You're not.
Yeah,
you're
she
not
just
this
knew.
Thor.
She's like, I was raised by witches,
I was raised
dude.
by
I
witches,
know.
yeah.
Come on.
And it was just an excellent moment, and then he managed to get Myeon as well. So that made me really happy.
Yeah,
but
Sometimes it takes a minute.
the whole
Yeah.
the whole like mum, and even though it wasn't her son, it was her son, and she knew how to talk to him, and so it was very clever. Very, very
and
good.
she sort of knew straight away that she's like, these 5 years haven't been kind to you, have they? You know, the years haven't been kind.
And I guess it's not really a moment, but the most shocking thing to me that we just didn't have very much Captain Marvel at all.
Yeah.
But she came in as Zach. She was the ex machina. Is that the right thing? So yeah, the ex machina that we needed at an exact point, because we're like, how's it going to go? Captain Marvel's not here. Brilliant. She did spend the whole time going, this has happened here.
Yeah, it's happened everywhere.
But they're lucky because they've got you guys, but it's happening everywhere else.
Yeah.
Which opens me up to think we're going to get like 5 movies of her
I know,
doing stuff.
Yeah.
And the space like MCU.
Yeah.
And other things going on other planets and it's just going to be so good. So I was kind of not happy because she wasn't in it much, but also really happy that with the universe,
it's exciting.
It's going to be so expanded.
If there's like multiple Captain Marvel stories, then I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was the same as you, Shelby. I thought she'd be a little bit more integral, but I kind of get why she wasn't as well. But yeah, that did surprise me as well. I was sort of expecting a bit more of her. And the haircut as well. She's got herself a swish new haircut. That's not my moment. No, that's not my moment.
I mean, that's her haircut from the comics, so that's not very shocking.
Oh, nice. Well, as you have discovered, Brian, I do not really read any comics at all. So, what was your most shocking moment?
Once again, aligned perfectly with Phil, because I wrote down Thor decapitating Thanos, but it not mattering. That's like, first of all, that is like gratuitous violence for a Marvel movie. That was shocking just in and of itself.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, the 5 years later, and that basically breaks Thor's character, which was shocking. Just everything about that whole, like you guys said, the whole intro was just like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. There's almost 3 hours left in this movie. Oh my god.
No.
And then just what ensues from there.
Yeah, definitely. I think mine was actually, even though we'd sort of semi-predicted it, but like didn't, is the fact that they actually killed Iron Man off. Like, oh my god, they did that. You know, he's like the symbol of like the MCU. He kicked it all off, and I have to respect the fact that it's like they actually had the nerve to do it, and it was excellent. It was heartbreaking. People were like proper sobbing. And then also on the flip side that they didn't kill Captain America.
I think that's more important.
But that they found such a creative way to still like
do away with.
Because I know sometimes we
doing them out.
Yeah, because in a way it's like, well, death's quite an easy way to write someone out, isn't it? But actually, they found, and for me as a big Captain America fan, it was the most perfect way you could have written him out.
Exactly.
And in a way, it was the perfect way for
Peggy.
Oh my gosh, the fact. I mean,
And then
it's
her
Peggy...
going, the chemistry's not there, and him having to go and find another girl.
No,
and that's why I wouldn't tell.
That's
why I wouldn't tell him about the ring, because it was just another random girl.
Oh snap!
Is that not headcanon? Is that not your headcanon?
Literally hate
That's
you
so funny.
much. It's unreal. I was just saying something really quite profound
Oh,
then,
man.
and you have just steamrolled it. So not killing off Captain America was a big surprise, but still managing to find it. Because when he was sort of there at the end, and I was a bit like, wow, where does he go from here, though? And then as soon as he went back in time, I was like, I know what he's going to do.
Yeah.
I know what he's going to do. Calm
He's
down,
not
Falcon.
coming
He's
back.
not coming
Yep.
back. Like, dude, no. I was just, it was perfect to me. So now this, here we go. Favourite line. Now, obviously, I know it's, we've not had it out long enough, but is there any sort of particular line that stands out to you as like one of your favourites? So Phil, what was yours?
Do you want me to do it in
Yes.
the voices?
Do it.
No,
do it,
not
do it,
necessarily.
do it.
I don't
Okay.
think that's necessary.
You took
Oh
everything
my
from
God.
me. I don't even know who you are. You will.
Terrific. Uncanny.
Wow.
You knew it was Scarlet Witch, though, Soph, didn't you?
Yeah, that's because we had the conversation before the podcast. I
Okay.
know your answers.
Yes, that line. There was a few. There was a lot, actually. I Love You 3000
Yeah.
is very high on my
Yeah.
list. I love Soph 3000.
Oh, thanks, babe.
Not you, Sophie Turner. But yeah, that one of like, I literally have no idea who you are, and she's like, I don't care, I'm gonna just rip
It's
your...
such a like douchey thing of Thanos to say as well, isn't it? Like, don't even know you. It's like that. Like, I've killed many fathers. You'll have to be more specific, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
It's such a like villain thing to say, isn't it? It's really, really cool. Yeah.
And hers, like, it was everything to her to do her best to. And then I have to have an honourable mention, and an amazing like comic book / callback to before his Hell Hydra.
Oh yeah.
That
Yeah,
line was
that was
like,
really
that line was
cool.
like, right, he's in the lift, there's lots going on, he's beaten
remember
all these
this.
guys up
Yeah,
before,
yeah.
so this is going to be fine. And then he just goes, Hell Hydra's like, wow, that is so cool. And then just
Yeah.
walks off of it.
Yeah.
It was like,
And that's again, it's
I love
like,
it.
like Captain America's journey, you know? I don't think Captain America a few films ago would have done that, because he'd have been like, oh no, that's too dastardly, I'm going to just take them all on. And yeah, that was awesome. Really, really awesome. Shelby, have you got a particular favourite line?
I am Iron Man.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
that's easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually mine too. That was because the whole movie is a culmination of all this time and effort and energy, and it's full circle back to the beginning, because really what starts everything out is him saying that, and then Nick Fury goes, "Hey, buddy, I got this thing called the Avengers Initiative." So it's, if not for that, we wouldn't have ended up with that again. And just the way that his glove snatched those stones from the other glove was, that's the ultimate time heist.
Yeah.
I think that it was just an amazing moment.
Yeah.
I am Iron Man.
I am Iron Man, yeah, that was amazing.
As in, like, I don't know how you do it, but like two fingers basically up
Yeah.
to Thanos of you arrogant person.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 fingers, forefinger and thumb, because Snap's coming.
Yeah.
Exactly, you're a horrible,
Yeah.
arrogant person, and I am Iron Man.
Yeah.
No one is more arrogant than me, but did in such a brilliant way.
Which
It was done in such a brilliant way that it was like, I'm saving the day and I'm besting
Yeah.
you and us lot have defeated
Yeah.
you, but
You
also
might be
like
inevitable, but
I
I'm
still
Iron
am Tony Stark. You
Yeah.
know, there was still that
Yeah.
moment of like
Yeah.
right back to the very beginning of
And
I
it's
managed
just-
to make a suit.
so awesome because he's one of the superheroes that doesn't have superhero powers.
Yeah.
He's a human. He's a human who beat Thanos.
Yeah.
And I love that they gave Thanos the minute to sit and think, I lost.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, he watched it
doesn't-
all disappear.
Yeah,
around
he doesn't
him.
just
He
have
didn't
that
go first.
moment of realization and like
I'm
dust
sure
away.
when Tony Stark
Save him till last,
snapped,
yeah.
yeah, save him till last was part of his like.
That
Yeah.
probably was in his thought.
Yeah, because I sort of, up until that point, I'd been thinking, like, I don't know who, you know, I'd been thinking, oh, should Captain Marvel be the one who does the snap, you know, that she can wear it, or, you know, and I thought the Hulk did it amazing. And then as soon as he put it on, I was like, of course it's Iron Man, and it's perfect. You just do, like, it's there in front of you, and you're like, yeah, this was...
I didn't really see it
how
the
it
first
should
time. The
have
tears were just
Yeah.
rolling down my eyes. So, you know, as soon as you knew it, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
he's going to die. That's
Yeah.
sad.
If
But
I tell
in
you
all
what
alternate
happens,
universe, he's still
it
alive,
won't
so it's fine.
happen.
Yeah. So did you say, was that your favourite line, Brian?
I am Iron Man, yes.
Iron Man, yeah. So I was part of the journey is the end, just because I think that is, well, it's applicable to many things in life, but also very perfect for this film as it's placed in this like series and, you know, finishing of so many stories. And yet, yeah, there are still so many journeys to go. So I did like that. But the one that really did it for me and the one that was like just chills for me was On Your Left. That's sort of a...
Oh,
Yeah. To have them arrive like that with the On Your Left and then they all just turn up and it's like they're all... Because the scene before, it was like Captain America was there and there was that beautiful shot where it was just him stood with the broken shield and Mjolnir and then like... We're really not doing these scenes justice by not pronouncing it, are we? It's a powerful moment.
Black
And he
Panther being
raises
back was
Mjolnir.
just.
Yeah. Oh, he was like, the king is arrived, you know?
I know.
Just
I
in
love him.
war.
I love him so much, and I can't wait for the
Same.
next Black Panther movie.
Same. I'm just, yeah.
Do you think
love
that some
him.
of these next movies are going to be post?
I think everything's going to be
I hope
post.
so. I think it would be too... Yeah, I really hope it would be
Too
interesting
Star Warsy,
now.
filling in stuff
Yeah.
that we already
Yeah.
know,
We already know, yeah. I think to just go beyond this
or
now
doesn't
will be
matter
way more
because
exciting.
the timeline gets messed up anyway.
Yeah. The only one I think it won't matter for is I would like to see Captain Marvel pre all this because I want to see her take on the AI from the Kree and stuff like that, which I imagine must happen before. It can't have taken her all this time to take on the... I can't remember what it was called. It was like the leader or something, wasn't it? But I'd quite like to see what she does between her film and this film. That's the only one that I would be like interested to see what's gone on between now and then. But everyone else,
Well, yeah,
like,
we
Black
have so
Panther.
much time
Yeah.
to play with for her.
Yes.
And she's got a lot of things to do in space. This is the whole point.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things. There's a lot of stuff going on. So she's going knocking
Yeah.
about doing that sort
I
of
just
stuff.
want a film with like her and Ben Mendelsohn. To be honest, that would be amazing. That would be a great film with her and his what were they? The Skrulls, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that
They
would be
turned
really
up and
cool.
fought, didn't they?
Yeah.
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 And the little duck.
What little duck?
Just watch some YouTube videos.
There's a duck.
Yeah, he appears at the collectors when they go to the collectors.
Oh.
Right,
Okay.
next.
What was your... As the silence reigns there. What was your favourite quiet moment? And actually, I think we've touched on a couple of
None of it
these
was
already.
quiet. There was a stupid woman behind us rustling.
There was a stupid one behind us wrestling. That was stressful.
I was thinking
How I-
about like I hope they don't have any wrestlers for Phil.
The
We-
first one we didn't, did
yeah,
we?
the-
No, the first one we
the first
did.
one we did,
The
and then
second
the second
one
one we didn't. Yeah.
Second one was an amazing cinema. Everyone was really quiet and respectful. Actually, I feel like I'm going to go back there now for. But anyway, yeah. So quiet moments, like not a battle, not an epic, game-changing kind of scene, but just those moments of downtime that have made it through the cut and they've made it into the film, and it could just be a conversation between two characters or, like you say, like a moment of contemplation. So what was your favourite quiet moment, Phil?
Clint and Wanda, Hawkeye and Scarlet Witch
Yes.
chatting at the end about Nat and Vision.
Yeah. After
And then
Tony's funeral.
Having a little
Yeah.
like moment,
They
a
know.
cuddle,
Yeah.
and just thinking about the ones that weren't with them.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a really
It's
nice
probably a
moment.
bit emotional after Tony's funeral, but that bit just
That
was
was, yeah. I like that they had that. They took the time for that moment. Yeah, that's a good one. What about you, Shelby?
Cheeseburgers.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to get you all the cheeseburgers you want.
that was lovely.
That was
Yeah,
really nice.
I wonder if that was like in there or what.
I feel like with kids, they usually just let them do
Did she
their
just
Yeah.
come out with it? Yeah. That was a really nice touch, though, yeah. That's
But
a good
happy being with her and like gonna.
Yeah.
I mean, he's basically gonna be her dad in a lot of
Yeah.
ways.
one. Yeah.
Can we
Yeah,
rewind the
totally.
whole thing and I say that Happy is my favorite side character?
Oh, he's so
He is really good. Yeah. What about you, Brian? What was your favourite?
That
kind
was a
of
time
quiet
heist joke in
moment?
there, definitely.
Yeah. Let's time
We're
heist
going to
the
time
episode.
heist the podcast. We can do that. We can edit this and have the power to do that. Do our own time heist on the episode.
Exactly.
Oh my god.
Right.
Yeah, Brian, what was your favourite quiet moment?
Just the whole intro with Hawkeye.
Mm-hmm.
Like him getting to be a hero, but at the same time he's just a person being a person, and this is his downtime. This is supposed to be his quiet time. And you know what's coming. Like as soon as they show it and you're like, "Oh, oh no. Why?" I'm pretty sure I said like whispered to Shelby, "Oh, why did they do this?" And it's just, but that's the beginning of it until the snap part happens and it becomes terrible. That is my favorite. Just a hero being a person, getting those quiet, normal air quotes times. So that was it for me. What about you?
Yeah. I liked the first sort of, again, mine's in the first kind of 10 minutes as well, of Tony and Nebula on the ship.
Oh yeah,
And,
that was
you
really
know,
good.
They're playing the game together.
Paper football.
Yeah. And,
That
you know,
was a
it's-
really good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun.
And it was sort of Tony recognizing that, like, it's important to have Nebula win sometimes because she needs a win every now and then. And it was sort of him almost, we're getting to see, like, Dad Tony in a way of, like, him
We got to see
recognizing.
Dad Tony with Peter Parker.
Yeah.
As well, I think.
Yeah.
But
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 that's
Nebula's so
productive.
bad, you know?
But I think
Yeah.
even more important, you get to see like Nebula have some sort of emotional connection with someone. Like she picks
Yeah.
him up and puts him in the chair,
Yeah.
and she's not just this evil robot anymore.
No.
Like
She
she
got to
has
have
changed.
compassion. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And like she gave him, I guess, the last bit of rations. She let him have it. I just thought I thought it was a really beautiful scene between the two of them. I thought it was just perfectly done for both of them.
Do you think they CGI'd his skinniness? Or do you think he actually...
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You don't think he...
And I think they did the same way they did Captain America in the first movie.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because he did look very good.
Oh, he did that. He played
Oh,
that
yeah.
really well as well. The first sort of 15-20 minutes of Tony was really really good. He played that so good. Okay, so tricky one now. Although you might have said yours, Phil, like where does it, if you can, where does it rank for you in your kind of top Marvel films? Phil, what do you think?
Definitely in the top 21.
Good, yeah, good to hear. Can you?
Because we all know
narrow it
Incredible
down?
Hulk's at number 22.
Yeah, I mean, sorry, not sorry. At this point, it doesn't even count. It's not the right actor. Everyone
Time
knows
wasted that
Hulk's story, so to be
The
honest,
only thing about that film was the Tony Stark at the end. But yeah, but we're not talking about that. Endgame. I think it's fresh in my mind. Although I did watch Thor Ragnarok this week. because that's currently was number one before, but I think the moments of excitement has got to put it number one for me.
Nice.
It's that good.
Nice.
I would more than happily watch it again and again, I
I
think.
think we're going to, aren't we, this week? We're going back to take my mum and dad.
Nice.
What about you, Shelby? Can you rank this? And if you can, where does it kind of land for you? I will accept like top 3,
No,
top
but,
5.
well, you didn't say that to me.
Yeah, no, but
I mean,
No
it
caveats.
has to be number one because there's nothing like it. But
Absolutely.
I also just don't feel like it's fair to even rank it across other movies in the Marvel universe because, you know, End Game and Infinity War just like are on different levels. I think it's better than Infinity War,
yeah.
but you know, those two I don't even think about as like comparing them to the others.
Yeah, I kind of get what you mean, actually. They do seem to sort of... They must have to transcend somewhere.
Right.
'Cause
I mean,
it's
when
still-
you have
I
that
can-
many of your favorite superheroes in one movie, of course
Yeah.
you're going to like it better than everything else.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's number one.
Brian?
Yeah, I think as far as just if we're ranking solely within the MCU, Infinity War and Endgame have to be considered one long story. I know they're
Yeah.
2 movies, but that's just because you can't put out a 6-hour movie.
Yeah, no, I like that, yeah.
But yeah, that's number one, and that might be number one, like in cinema. The only things that can really contend with it, in my opinion, are the Lord of the Rings and the original trilogy.
Ooh. I don't even think original trilogy touches this. Like, I think that Lord of the Rings is the only thing that can come close to what these are.
The thing that really puts these 2 movies over the edge are the 20 movies that came before it.
Yeah.
Like, everything that builds up and then you get this out of it is honestly unbelievable, unparalleled. We'll probably never see it again unless Marvel manages to pull it off in their next stage of how they move forward.
Yeah, I think it's one of these things that you're like, I can't believe that they got all of these actors
Yeah.
to still do it. But they signed them contracts, so it's
Yeah.
fine. But we've never known it before. And some of these actors, Chris Evans, for example, are only, oh my goodness, Chris Evans is in this movie, he's such a superstar, because of
Yeah.
the MCU.
Yeah.
Chris Hemsworth, probably the same. The only reason he is because of it. Robert Downey Jr.'s career was down the pan before it.
Yeah.
So
I honestly,
the
that
only
makes-
reason they're
yeah.
such megastars is because, like you said, the
Yeah.
other movies have made them into megastars, and you're like, the cast is ridiculous. I think there's a couple of Instagram videos going around where they're just recording the final,
Yeah.
like, pitch for the
Yeah.
final battle, and you think, he's a star, he's a star, she's a star, she's a star, he's a
Yeah.
star. But the only reason they are is because of the other
Yeah.
movies. So
Yeah. And I feel like everybody has that, everyone went into that. I think the 4 of us, we've all said, haven't we, that we all have different favourite characters. Like, everybody can take something different into these films and then take something out of them at the end as well. And the way that it's weaved together, and yet nothing feels gratuitous, nothing feels fan servicey. Every now and then you'll have like let's have the Hulk versus the Hulk Buster as like a bit of a, we want to see the Hulk and the Iron Man fight kind of thing. But
or like Iron Man,
it
or
still
like,
felt like it still kind of felt relevant to the story of like it was all quite key to the Hulk's journey, and that set Bruce Banner on the path that wound him up in space. So
it was just like you have things in comic books that happen, and you have these fun things that happen in comic books, and like, wow, that's amazing, yeah. And then they've managed to put it successfully into a film without it being cheesy or too over the top.
I really, really hope that Star Wars are taking notes / hiring
I think
people.
it's too far gone, I'm afraid to say.
Hiring people to come across to try to, yeah. That's my only other cinema experience that I'd say I would add to that was the Force Awakens for me as well. Like you're saying with the Lord of the Rings one, seeing those in the cinemas was like next level. And
Have you seen Toy Story 1, 2 and 3? Come on.
Oh my gosh.
And they're just about to destroy that with Toy Story 4.
I think that's the only one that's come as... We were trying to decide, weren't we? What was I crying harder at the end of Endgame or the end of The Force Awakens? I'm not sure. I mean, granted, I did cry in the opening crawl in Force Awakens because that was like... that was a wait of a different period. It wasn't like this we've waited for 11 years, but we've had stuff to watch, where like, yeah, Force Awakens was like, we've waited and we had nothing. So that was, yeah. I think for me it's top 5, but I do agree actually that maybe our rankings should remove Infinity War and Endgame, and we'll pop them up somewhere else on a slightly higher shelf.
Yeah,
and then have everything
they
else.
exist above everything else.
Yeah.
And then, like, yeah, they're on a plateau, and then you rank things under them.
Yeah.
But on,
Yeah,
on
exactly.
that whole TFA thing, don't you think that it's more telling that you have all of these movies building up to this, and yet your excitement level for this movie was still off the charts? Where part of the reason everyone was so excited for The Force Awakens is because there had been no Star Wars movies for so long.
Yeah.
And
There's
now you're
nothing.
getting to the point where they say Star Wars is oversaturated with 5.
Yeah, well, they've had, well, how many films have we had? 3.
5.
Yeah?
4.
Rogue One.
Four.
Well,
So
there will be
yeah.
5.
Yeah, it will be
Well-
5. Yeah, how is that oversaturated?
Right.
Why can we handle so much Marvel film? Or is it because...
They're genius.
Well, yeah, but
They
like,
are.
do we need to get to the stage with Star Wars that we did with Marvel? Because like we were saying, weren't we? We didn't rush out to see... We were just more chill, I think, about it. There were ones that piqued your interest where you're like, I'm going to go to the cinema. We didn't go to see Thor Ragnarok at the cinema. We didn't get round to it. And yet it's like,
That's
both
the
of us,
best
it's one of our favourites. I mean, we've started going a bit more with the build-up to Infinity War and Endgame. We then were like, boom, get on it. But we just, I don't know, you kind of would pick and be like, oh, I really like Black Panther. I'm going to go see his film. Or, oh, great, a new Captain America. I really like him. Or, I'm not as into Spider-Man. I'll wait. And so, I don't know, it just didn't have that pressure where I feel like the pressure to go out and see and love every single Star Wars film, when you think that's just unrealistic. Some of it you're just not going to be as into, and they're not all going to be sensational.
No, you have things like Black Panther,
Yeah.
and you have T'Challa,
Yeah.
and then you have Shuri,
Yeah.
and then you have all the people he fights against, all the people that are with him,
Yeah.
his guards and all that, and all the side characters way excel in one movie than what they've managed to put into Star Wars and the side characters in Star Wars. And that's the difference, is that, like, as a singular movie, they've managed to create interesting and funny and characters that bring emotions. And then they're not doing that once, they're doing that 10 times in a row, and everything is always breaking your expectation. And you're like, nothing's going to be better than Black Panther. Black Panther is one of the best movies going. And then they bring out Thor Ragnarok, and you're like, that's even better.
Yeah.
How have they got that? And
Yeah. And they're fighting a different big bad every time as well, and it still just seems to... I do think that's something that, you know, not everything has to... I think that's perhaps where Star Wars is slipping up, in that we're just fighting pretty much just the Empire the whole time.
Right.
And it's
Well,
like-
now they're even bringing back the Emperor.
Yeah. And in a way, it's like, let's actually, you know... I suppose Solo, he didn't really fight the Empire, and I enjoyed Solo for that, actually, that it was spinning off and doing its own thing in a different conflict, but there is no reason why you can't, and I think that's probably why we're all really excited for The Mandalorian here, because it's like, in theory, this TV series can have nothing to do with the Empire, or, you know, the Jedi, or whatever, it's just could be something totally separate, and that's, I think
that listening to Taika Waititi, did I nail it?
Taika, I think his first name is.
That's exactly what I said. Snoop and Snoke, come on.
That's what, he just has an accent, so leave him alone.
Tagayan.
Stop.
Listen to him. When they approached him to make that movie, they said, we want you to make a Thor movie.
Yeah.
And that was it. And then they all sat down and decided what it was going to be. Yeah?
Yeah.
I just don't think they're given the freedom that
Yes.
they're given. And they're like, you can do this, right? Okay, so what's the premise of it? Well,
Well, look at
His
Solo.
bad sister comes back and they get chucked to a different planet and they have to work a way of getting out of the planet. And there's some weird, crazy guy that runs the planet, and there's a drunk girl that they know from the past. And his annoying
I want you to
brother tags
describe
along.
every movie to me from now on.
We should do
You
like
know.
an episode of like poorly described movies.
Yeah.
Poorly, this
You know.
is perfect. That is exactly right.
And then they go back and they fight, and
Yeah.
but we get to the stage where like, brilliant, Thor's going back, Valkyrie's there, and everything's going back, and it's fine. They're going to save the day, and then Asgard blows up. No one saw that coming, did they?
Not being funny.
They didn't see that coming, though, did they?
You
I mean, I did, because that's what Ragnarok means, but
Yeah. But, like, I get what you're saying. Like, I don't think... You think, they fired 2 directors because they were taking Solo in a direction that they weren't happy with. And it's like, but what if that had been good? Like, if you'd have said to us after the first Thor film... Thor's going to end up being, he's going to have his head shaved, he's going to have his eye pulled out, he's going to be potentially one of the funniest characters in
Hammerless.
Marvel. He's going to lose his hammer, then he's going to get really fat. You would just be like, but they've done it, and that you couldn't do, with the Star Wars, people didn't like it because Luke got a bit grumpy and sat on an island for a bit and had a think. Like, you get this whole, you can't disrespect a character like that. I think just because the OT is so precious, and it is, I get that, like, I'm the same, and I'm just as guilty of doing this stuff, of putting it on that pedestal and actually...
Well, again, don't you think that part of the issue is that there's so much time and it gets to sit there and, like, sink in as it is?
You don't have enough time to make predictions of
well,
what
and,
you
like,
want for characters.
Yeah.
all these things that have happened with Thor happened within, what, at least 11 years? Probably less than that. Mm-hmm. And then everything that's
Huge.
happened between the original trilogy and now is 40 years. So, I mean, like...
It's huge. And you think he's also... he's walked away from Asgard as like, I'm not going to do that anymore. Like, it's huge. And I am so excited for Thor. I feel like we can have another Thor trilogy. And it'd be totally different and still just as exciting.
They managed to have these ideas, and they've obviously got a plan of where they want the story to start, where they want the story to finish, and they're like, as long as it's not too crazy, we can make it happen. And Thor Ragnarok's basically a comedy movie, isn't it? The whole way through.
Yeah.
Where Black Panther's a really serious movie,
tone, yeah.
but it's got its elements that make you laugh as well, and it's just they're just better at filmmaking.
I feel like there needs to be like some people from Marvel coming over to Star Wars and be like, "This is how you do good humor."
Yeah.
Mm.
Yes.
How about a hug for General Hug?
Okay.
All right, now that we...
Yeah. Star Wars is dumb. Let's move on.
I think it's
we could discuss DC as well if we wanted to.
No, let's...
Why would we bother?
Last couple of questions before we go. Obviously, we've talked about the immense throwbacks in this film. Which film did it make you really fancy rewatching the most? Phil?
Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah.
But I watched that already.
You did, so that really is your answer, isn't it?
So that is kind of my answer. But when I thought about it more carefully, Iron Man 1.
Yeah.
Let's start at the beginning again. I
Yeah, no,
reckon.
let's just do a massive watch.
Let's buy the box set for like $500 or whatever it is.
Yep, Iron Man 1.
Yeah. Brian?
I mean, I think Phil and I are basically the same person because I said Ragnarok, but that's just because, like, Thor is, aside from Hawkeye, the person I'm most interested in, and Ragnarok reinvented Thor.
Uh-huh.
There are a lot of people, if you ask them what is the weakest MCU movie, not counting Hulk, they would say Dark World, which I disagree with.
Mm-hmm.
But
there were dark elves in it, remember?
I
Woo,
know.
Scary.
it's cool.
I like...
That was a
like
really
it.
good line. As
That
well,
was,
wasn't it?
yeah. But anyway, like, Ragnarok took Thor from that, like, place of where people thought it was, like, dark and dull and serious. And first of all, the color palette just throws you completely off of what a Thor movie should be. The humor, as Phil said, is amazing. It reinvented Thor. It created the Thor that we have now. And it gave Hulk the sort of, not standalone, but the spotlight he needed. Because aside from his original movie, which we will all agree is not really...
Trash.
It's the one blight on the MCU. But it's still not even that bad. But it gave him that time to shine, not in a collaborative, like not in an Avengers or, I mean, a Civil War, which, let's be honest, is Avengers light.
Mm-hmm.
So it really significantly changed two of our main Avengers, and was just a terrific movie, and it introduced Korg.
And
Who's made of
Korg
rocks?
is
Don't let
the
that
best.
intimidate you.
Yeah.
Unless you made
I got a
rock,
ship.
scissors.
You want to go?
Just a little rock, paper, scissors joke for you there.
Tremendous.
Honestly, the thought that man has gone anywhere near Star Wars really does excite me. That
I
would
know.
be-
Honestly,
Oh, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
I hope that his droid talks in his accent.
Yeah, I know. Same. I hope he keeps his accent for it.
I watched an interview and he said, "How did they decide the color palette of Thor Ragnarok?" And he basically said, "What we did is we gave a bunch of crayons to a bunch of 3-year-olds and said, I said, color in the poster." And that's what they came up with. So we went with that.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I think I pretty much land in the same camp as everyone else as well. It's a combination of Ragnarok and Iron Man 1 as well, because I do really want to go back to the beginning now with Iron Man. But also I am going to throw in Captain Marvel, because I saw her again and I was like, oh, I love her. I need to spend another 2 hours
Peter
with
Parker.
her. Hey, Peter Parker. Oh, she's so good. So yeah, I also want to spend a bit more time with Captain Marvel as well. Okay, so as best we all can then, anyone got any sort of closing submissions, any final things we want to say about Endgame before we snap our fingers on this podcast?
I
Oh, wow.
would like
Which
to
half are we going to dust?
I would like to summarise the last podcast where we talked about Game of Thrones and this podcast where we talked about Endgame. Yeah. And say that I feel that the disappointment of Game of Thrones, and because I was disappointed with the episode, was magnified because of the brilliance of Endgame. And that's where I'm at. And I think that the release of the two of them and looking at the fans that go to both, I know they're both absolute like £1 billion and
Yeah.
everyone watches them, but the fans that decide to sit on a podcast and talk about it for 2 hours, it's difficult not to say, well, these two big events are happening at the same time, then why? And trying not to use the joy of one against the disappointment of the other. And that's where I'm at. But
That's sad.
what?
That's sad.
It is a little bit.
We'll see how
Because-
you are next week when we talk about Game of Thrones, and then you might be like here in your like Stark t-shirt and like you might just be in full on Game
I
of
do.
Thrones.
No, yeah, maybe.
He'll be wearing the Kraken shirt.
Yeah.
It will save the day.
Please, can you not pin your hopes on a Kraken standing up, okay?
So what is-
I'm
No,
really
man,
worried
let's
for
build
you
this
both.
up. Kraken or bust.
No. Okay, here's my points, right? Here's my points. I love Hux, yeah,
Yes.
and I want a big Hux deal in the
Yeah.
last
Oh,
gen
you
thingy.
poor man.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. They disappointed me. I want a Kraken to turn up in Game of Thrones and save the day. Probably not going to happen.
I think there's at least a 2% chance that could happen.
I want Valkyrie to be in a battle riding her Pegasus
Yeah.
in Endgame.
Happened.
She's a side character. They're all side characters.
Yeah.
That happened. That is why the MCU is best in everything.
Terrific.
That was me clicking my fingers. There, done. They managed to please you in ways that other franchises can't. Done.
Okay. Shelby, any closing submissions?
I'm excited to see where the MCU goes after all of this, because it's
Yeah.
like everything's so
too.
tied up, and how do you kick it off? But I'm excited to see what Tony Stark did, because I'm sure that he's left all kinds of Easter eggs and things for future, MCU characters to stumble upon or use, or any of that.
Will you be disappointed if we don't get an Ironheart?
Yes. I will be. But I'm also excited to see, I wonder if he left a lot of stuff from, the technology development to Peter Parker.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that would be so awesome. And I feel like Pepper also would be, really reaching out to Peter Parker to do that sort of thing for
Well,
Stark
Pepper
Industries.
and Happy,
They're going to take care of Peter Parker.
Yeah.
well, and yeah, I think they'll involve him in Stark Industries I think Shuri could have a hand in
yes.
working with that.
Yeah, they need to hire her fast.
Yeah, exactly. I think, like you said, it does seem finished, but there's also, I mean, you've got Adam Warlock kicking about.
Yep.
I'd say because we're opening up the cosmic Marvel universe and the Fantastic Four are now available for the MCU, we're probably going to end up with Silver Surfer and Galactus. I don't know. The X-Men have the potential to show up.
They just need a reboot, don't they? I'd be really, really happy if they just reboot the X-Men and let's do something different, because I love the X-Men and I need them to do better.
I would like to see them brought in as a small team like they did Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Like there are 50 million X-Men, but let's have Professor X, Wolverine, Cyclops, Jean Grey, and then one other whoever. I don't know. I would pick Gambit because I love him, but you can't have Gambit without Rogue, and then you get that sort of, well, you can't have X without Y, and then you end up with 50 million X-Men again.
Exactly.
But yeah, I don't know. There's the future is bright for everything. Even Game of Thrones, it could be good. We'll see. Kraken's coming.
So no one's worried that it's not going to live up to the 22 movies and the finale that we've just got.
Not with people like Thor kicking around, the Guardians of the Galaxy and Captain Marvel and Black Panther. There's just too much exciting there. That's, we've not even mentioned anything new, like the Inhumans or whatever we're going to go down. It just, there's so many, and even Doctor Strange has got new films, and there's so many really exciting characters. A lot of the ones who got dusted, to be honest, that they really interest me now, and I'm really excited for them.
And Thor's still alive, so it's fine.
And Wakanda Forever. Like,
excellent.
For real. So yeah, that's also my finger snap as well. So thank you very much for listening. Hope you've enjoyed, and obviously if you want to chime in on so if you've got any of your own Endgame thoughts, feel free to hit us up. Brian or Shelby, where can people find the pod?
You can find us on social media at PNE_pod.
Hit us up via email at contact@podsandends.com.
Or you can check out our website, podsandends.com.
Yeah, you can't find me on Twitter though, so don't bother looking until June. I'm gonna get that Captain Marvel handbag. It's gonna happen, guys. I'm really excited.
There's a little bet going on, so
it's been 5 days.
Yeah, we'll see.
I'm
not gonna hold my breath.
I'm gonna be really righteous like Phil was when he quit social media.
Yeah, but he did it for good, so.
Well, no, he is sneakily back on Instagram.
I'm not.
Anyway.
No.
Right.
All right, so before everything burns down, that was our episode. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.